Hello and welcome to 287. Right, for this video guys, I'm back down on my Syndicate, which is Aspen Lake down on the Cotswold Water Park, and I have got 3 nights fishing ahead of me. The lake is actually really busy. It's Wednesday the 30th of... is it 30th? Let me get to the date on my phone. Yeah, Wednesday the 30th of August, so it's midweek. I thought I'd rock up to, you know, a generally quiet midweek lake how it normally is. There was 10 cars, vans in the car park when I got here. I thought, Jesus, what's going on here? Have I turned up on a weekend or something by accident? But yeah, it's for a midweek day, it is quite busy. So rather than having sort of a pick of the lake, which I normally can midweek, it's I've had to almost kind of take the best of what was left, kind of thing. So I've come round to the right hand side of the lake as you come into the so you come into the lake, drive up one side, got the top bank, and then you come back down this side, and I'm on the first swim as you come back down on the right hand side, the east side of the lake, which probably won't be a bad thing for this session, because I didn't plan on being on this side of the lake, but the wind direction, although it's dropped to a bit of a light breeze at the moment, is kind of in this swim's favour. I mean, if the fish have read the rule book, that is. Of course, you know, fish have had to have read the rules to know that they've got to be on the wind to you know, to make this a good swim. So I have fished this swim before, I have caught from this swim before, so, you know, although I've had to kind of take the best of what was left, it's not all doom and gloom. As you can see, nothing's set up yet. I have got the bivvy up. There is a maybe forecast of rain on and off, so I've got the bivvy up and got everything inside it first. Right, like I say, I'm here for 3 nights, so it's probably been a long video, so I'm going to crack on, get everything set up, so let's go fishing. Right guys, first thing I'm going to do is do a bit of marker up work. I've had a little initial quick little marker up already for what will be my right hand rod. So as you can see, my right hand and middle hand rods are putting off to the right, and that's because I want them 2 rods to fish that reed line over there to my right hand side. So obviously I want to get the range that I want to fish. You might say, what are you doing, you daft twat, buddy, doing marker up work kneeling down? Well, excuse the French here, by the way, but the reason is because all my rods are 13 foot, my fishing rods, my spod rod and my marker rod are all 13 foot, and I've got tree canopy above me to the right hand side. My first cast, the braid went into the branches, so hence why I'm kneeling down. So I think I've found the spot I want to fish, but so I don't hit the branches, I've got to have a really short drop, literally just a couple of foot on to the lead, and then I'm having to punch it out to the spot I want to fish, so it goes out rather than, you know, rather than a parabolic curve like you normally would cast. Oh, and that is a nice drop on that spot. That is a nice little hard spot. So as you would have heard, that's already clipped up to that spot, and that's fishing to a little gap in the trees that I'm going to use as a marker. So that is the right hand rod mark, well, marked up. Let's just do one more to make sure. So short drop. Oh, didn't quite go to where I wanted it then, but I have got my bait boat with me. Probably would be easier if I did it with my bait boat, but you don't always need the bait boat, to be fair. Although for this particular rod it probably would be easier. Oh no, it's way off to the left. No good, no good. Although the middle rod will be, when I do some marker at work, will be in that direction. Or a bit more to the left rather even. Donk, that is a lovely, yeah, that is a lovely spot, that is. So, right, we'll get that round the wrap sticks. See what that is, and then we'll get the rod marked up accordingly. Right guys, so that wrapped up at 9 wraps and 8 foot to that spot I want to fish on that rod. So again, just off camera to speed things up a little bit, I've done the marker at work, so I've picked again another gap in the trees. That would be a nice easy sort of night marker, but if I need to do any casting in the night. So nice little gap in the trees I've picked out, and hopefully this will land lovely and jovely. Donk. That is a nice drop. That was bang on that cast, and that is actually, I've got a little bit of a so it's a nice little hard spot, that is. So happy with that. So I'll do another one just to make sure. Went a little bit left that time, to be fair, but it's coming back. A lot of the lake is still really weedy at the moment, but this section of the lake is where it's a lot deeper. It's got a lot less weed. There's still some weed, but a lot less than, say, the west bank of the. Perfect. Oh, bosh. Yes, that's the one, that spot there. Right. So, lovely, jovely. 2 rods fishing that reed line, or will be fishing the reed line when they do go out. I mean, who wouldn't fish to a lovely looking reed line like that in the distance? Right, let's get this one wrapped up and see what this range is. Right guys, time's pushing on because I just went round the corner with me bucket of boilies and just chucked in some boilies through the trees over the reed lines to them spots that I've just marked up to. That left hand rod, well, the left hand rod on out of them 2, which will be actually my middle rod, wrapped up to a nice even 12 wraps, so that's lovely jovely. And then while I was around that side with my bucket of bait, I went a little bit up to the bay swim, the swim that I fished in my last video here. And if you don't know the topography, kind of the layout of that swim, have a look at that video. But the point in front of this swim is kind of like the left-hand point of the basin, so I just wanted to make sure the guy that's in the basin wasn't fishing anywhere near that point, because I want to put a rod on it, and as it happens he isn't. So are we still wrapped up at 12 wraps? I think we are. So I'm just gonna chuck me lead in that direction. Oh. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, lovely. Yeah. So exactly 12 wraps also to just off that point. And that has got a very nice retrieve on it. So as I've said in previous videos, you can't go tight to the island or off of points at this site, at this fishery, otherwise you'd be fishing on the slope, because when they created the island they sloped it off, so you want to be at least a rod length off of the island, or 6 foot at least, so you're not on the slope. Oh, that was a bit, no, that was, no, 12 rod lengths is too far. That was slightly into the base swim. So if you're watching this video, sorry about that. Alright, I think 11 wraps would be. Alright, put the line in the clip there and see where that lands. I don't think that's quite 11 wraps, but well, closer to 10, but yeah, anyway, the main thing is it's not weedy. Nice and clear. Right, I think that spot off the point would do, because obviously you've got quite a lot of the lake out in front, what you can see, and then obviously then it comes around the corner of that point and then up to my left. So if any fish are traversing that bit of the lake to this bit of the lake, obviously they got to go around that point, and my rod would be there waiting to intercept them. Right guys, nearly 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm finally just getting my first rod out. So the first rod I'm going to put out is the one that's fishing on the single bank stick, which is the left hand rod, the rod we've just seen me wrapping up to that point. And I was right, exactly 10 wraps to fish in line with the point. We are fishing Ronnie rigs also, all 3 rods. I ain't going to show you the Ronnie rig, I think we all know what a Ronnie rig looks like by now. Do that again, although it hit the clip. It hit the clip, I think, just as it was hitting the water, so I want to just make sure the hook link has kicked out enough better. Lovely jubbly. Right guys, hopefully I don't fall in, but we'll do the most awkward rod first. So this is the one that's just over 9.5 wraps, so short drop to avoid the tree canopy above this flint. Same with the first rod, Ronnie rig, nut 365 12mm pop-up. Perfect. Like I say, it is a little bit of a punchy shot to make sure I get it out under that tree canopy, but thinking the line in the margin's a bit awkward because there's a little bit of marginal weed, so we have to make sure the back lead drops beyond that shelf with the weed on it, which is about just there. For those of you who have been watching me blogs a few years here, when I used to fish the beach swim, which was just around the corner, this side used to be all the reed line that I used to fish to. Where the reed line used to be, it's quite shallow, so it's a little bit weedy close in. You know, that scummy kind of floating weed, but nothing too major to worry about. Middle and last rod, guys. Looks at 12 wraps. Nope. Needs to be about 6 foot to the right. Obviously, I'm thinking of the tree canopy above me and bottling in it a little bit, but that's better. Donk. Oh, lovely drop as well. Right, that's it then, guys. All 3 rods are now fishing. Like I say, because it is, well, 7:05 now. Obviously that's going to be it for the night. So fingers crossed, as I said in the intro, guys, we've got 3 nights fishing ahead of us, so plenty of time to try and put one of these elusive Aspen fish on the bank. Fingers crossed. Oh, right then, guys, as you can see, it is pitch black. Well, it is pitch black. I know it looks fairly bright, but I've said it before in my blogs. If you don't know, my camera's got one of them low light sensors on it, so oh, fish just boshed in me swim. Yeah, it's my camera's got one of them low light sensors, so it makes it look brighter when it's quite dark. But yeah, darker nights are certainly drawing in, guys, because 8:30 and it is already pitch black. It wasn't long ago, it was still bright at 9 o'clock, and now it's... But anyway, what I'm getting at it's night time. I'm going to put the camera away, settle down for the night, and hopefully something will happen in the night, guys. So fingers crossed I'll see you in the night. If not, I'll see you in the morning, guys. I did say earlier on I wouldn't get the camera out until the morning, but it's a full moon tonight, and apparently it's a rare blue moon tonight, which is the fullest full moon gets apparently, and the biggest it gets in like 17 years or something like that tonight. And I must admit, it does look quite impressive, guys. The cameras aren't full zoom to and yeah, it's as the moon slowly moves, it's slowly moving to the corner of my shot. But yeah, quite an impressive full moon tonight, guys. Probably won't mean a big common low because there's not many commons in this lake. But yeah, see if I can get back on it. There we go. That is quite impressive. I stayed up this late. It's nearly midnight just to see the full moon, guys. But off to bed for me now. Good morning, everybody. So, unfortunately, that big full moon, blue moon as they were calling it last night, unfortunately didn't bring any big commons, and nor did it bring any other kind of big fish. Yeah, so this morning we've got a low pressure weather system moved in, and as you can probably hear above the bivvy, cameras sheltering under the archway of the bivvy. We've got some rain this morning, hardly no wind, which is probably a good thing, but yeah, bit of light rain at the moment, but it's forecast to turn heavy in about hour and a half, 2 hours time. And then once the heavy rain comes in, it's forecast to be in for well, most of the day, like until evening time. So looks like today's going to be mostly confined to the bivvy. So in the interests of keeping warm and dry, I'm not going to touch the rods probably until this evening. Obviously we saw we didn't get the rods out until yesterday, so baits will be fine, buoyancy will be okay. The way I weight my Ronnie rigs, I do the weight on the boom and not on the hook system, so there's no weight on the hook side of it to kind of start making your pop-ups droop. So yeah, I'm happy with the spots, you know, as we saw yesterday when I was marking up, they're nice and clear. So there's no need for me to get out in this, or what will be much wetter weather in a couple of hours time, to readjust the rods or rebait the rods. Oh, bless me. So yes, I think most of today is just going to be a case of sitting in my bivvy, watching the weather, watching the rods, hoping that they do go off. Hopefully this low pressure system, I mean, like I say, if the fish have read the rule books, this is ideal fish conditions for them to feed. So We just got to hope I'm in the right area, which again, as I said yesterday, I didn't really have much choice on yesterday. Kind of had to take the best of the rest because the lake was busy. Anyway, I am slowly getting a little bit wet, so I'm going to get back into my bivvy, have some breakfast, and then hopefully the fish would have read the rule book and said, no, it's time to feed during this low pressure system. Alright and guys, so as you can see, the rods aren't fishing at the moment. I had to wind in about 2 o'clock to go and use the on-site facilities, and then kind of when I got back to my swim, the heavens opened up and it was raining quite heavy, and quite frankly I couldn't be bothered getting the rods sorted back out in the rain. So the rain has just recently stopped, so it is now time to get the rods back out. So that means we haven't been fishing now for about 4 hours. But anyway, so I'm going to do the right and middle rods with a bait boat. I've got the bait boat out, so we'll redo those rods with the bait boat, mainly because when they go back out I want some bait to actually be round the rig. So what I did yesterday, as I said earlier in the blog, I just went round and chucked boilies through the trees. I've got no idea if they actually landed anywhere near where I was fishing, but I just kind of peppered the reed line through the trees and sort of hope for the best, really, to be fair. And then the left hand rod, sorry, I will still cast out because it's a nice easy one to do, and then I'll bait up that rod, which I haven't done so far. That rod so far up to now has been fishing as a single. When I went round to the facilities, I got my catapult out my van, so I'll put some bait over that spot as well. But rather than using the bait boat, as when I was doing my last session here, catapult bait out and have a kind of a spread area of bait to hopefully entice the fish in, because that's what worked last time. But obviously them two fishing up to the reeds, I want the bait to be more tight around the rig, which is why I'm going to use the boat on them too. Right, so I'm going to do the left hand rod first because that's going to be the easy one. So I just need to do the 10 wraps first, and then we'll get that rod sorted first. Right guys, so that's the right hand rod just done, and I can tell you it was a right palaver because the margins here have got some of that dead and dying kind of floating silkweed, and when I was putting the boat out it all got tangled up in both propellers, and I've just had to have the propeller guards off, the propellers out. Luckily I carry the tool to take the propellers out, and yeah, I've just had to untangle a load of dead and dying silkweed. Oh, it was a palaver, put it that way, guys. But anyway, the rod is out. So that rod, I put in the bait boat a load of boilies, the same boilies I catapulted over the left hand rod. And then when I put this rod out, I'm going to try something different and bait up with 4mm pellets. So on this rod, I've got the a magic twig. There you go. See it disappear? That's the only time you're ever going to see me use a magic twig. Right. I don't think you can overdo 4mm pellets, so we'll put a good scattering in there. So, because the boilies in the right hand rod, because they're going to concentrate on one spot, I didn't put too many in there. There was probably, I don't know, maybe 25-30 baits in there. I don't know, I didn't count them, but roughly. Right, so lid on the bait boat as per fishery rules, so bird life don't attack your boats. Right, this time I'll try and push the boat out past this horrible weed so it doesn't get snagged up in the propellers again. Right, I think that's better. Alright, we're still going to fish the same spots that I did the marking up to yesterday, guys, because obviously, as we saw when I was marking up, them spots are nice and clear, and when you can fish to a marginal reed bed, why wouldn't you? Because obviously it's a carpy feature. And there's not many features in this lake to fish to, so you need to fish to the ones that are there. Right, and bombs away. Right, that is all 3 rods fishing, guys, finally. Like I say, a bit of a turn in the weather kind of slowed me down a bit, but hey ho, the way I look at it is it's rested me swim for a little while, so, and often that's what I'll do in blogs anyway. And that is that. We are now fishing again for going into the second night. And guys, you might just still be able to see the ripples on the water out there, but a fish has just boshed out, literally, I'd say about 3 or 4 foot to the right of where my left hand rod is. That is the first physical sign of a fish I've actually seen in front of me. So that's good, and even better, it was literally feet from where my left hand rod is, so that is a good sign. I was literally just getting the camera up to say good night because There's a little bit of rain just starting to fall again, so I was just about to put my camera away, to be fair, and literally just before I sort of hit the record button, that fish boshed out. So good signs, good signs. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to put the camera away for the evening now, guys. I'm going to chill in my bivvy. Got a full belly, I'm all carved up. I've just had a lovely spicy meat feast pizza cooked on my cob, and then I followed it up with a couple of rounds of garlic bread as well, so I am carved up to the max. So yeah, like I say, I'm going to put the camera away now, guys, and hopefully one of them fish can trip up on one of my rigs. Like I feel like we're fishing a bit better now. Now we're actually got some bait out on the spots as well now, so right, hopefully see you in the night, guys. If not, see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. And yeah, obviously with no nighttime footage, it was a very quiet night. Very quiet, in fact. I didn't even have a single bleep. As you can see, no rods out at the moment. That's because the jalapenos I had on me meat feast pizza last night, let's just say they took rather quick effect, and I had to wind in rather quickly and make a mad dash for the facilities. So yeah, I don't normally wind in this early, but it was either that or I'd be having skid marks. But right, so plans for this morning. Left hand rod can go back out on its spot off of the point out there, and then the guy who's in the bay swim next to him around the corner, he's packing up now and his rods are now out the water. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do what I've done in this swim before, and that's chuck some rigs long basically into the bays area, and see if I can pick anything out. Just fish them as singles, those two rods for the time being. Small fish just jumped out then, and yeah, just chuck a couple of rigs. So up to the, I know I've done it before in this swim and caught, so I'll just have to keep my eye on that swim in case anyone else turns up. It is Friday now today, so no doubt at some point the weekend anglers were going to start turning up today. And then this evening I plan to wind in just before 5 o'clock, go round to the chip shop, have a chippy tea, seen I haven't done that here for a while, and then probably get my rods back out around about 6 o'clock ish. That's the plan for today. And then when they do go back out, they'll go back out onto me spots up to the reeds, probably. Right, anyway, I need to get my rigs rebaited up and get them back out, because if I don't try and catch a fish, there's going to be nothing to show you later on. Right guys, so that first rod was obviously the one that's on the 10 wrap spot off that point there, and then as I said I'm going to just fish these two rods as singles for the day until I wind in this evening to go to the chippy, just out in open water. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to chuck them long into the bays water as the guys over there now is packing up, so that's what I'm going to do. Right guys, let's see how we get on with like I say, doing a bit of poaching of another swim's water for so it's just before 10 o'clock now, so 10, 11, 12, 6.5 hours I'm going to fish them two rods out there until I'll wind in this evening to go to the txi-d. And guys, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, so all still quiet. So I've got about an hour and a half before I'll wind in and have my little trip to the fish and chip shop. But I've decided I'm going to, when I do get back and I've had my fish and chips and I put the rods back out for this evening, I think because I've spent sort of 2 days and 2 nights, well 2 nights on that reed line and nothing's happened, I'm going to, I think I'm going to abandon that area, to be fair. I think if anything would have been up and down patrolling that kind of bank, I think, you know, I would have picked it up by now, to be fair. And it's not like I've committed a lot of bait to that area. Literally what went out with the bait boat last night was pretty much, I'd say it, because the day before when I chucked it through the trees, like that could have been anywhere. So anyway, so yeah, I've decided I'm going to abandon that area. Actually, this is all dependent on whether no one actually turns up in the bay swim later on, because my plan is to carry on doing what I've done like this morning, with just kind of pub chucking them out into open water. So left rod will obviously continue with that spot just off of the point, because, you know, we have got a bit of bait out there. It's a nice clean spot. It is an area where the fish, you know, circumnavigate to go from that part of the lake to that part of the lake. But these 2 rods, where I chucked them out earlier on just into open water, I'm going to, I think I'm going to carry on with that. Like I said, this all is all dependent on no one else turning up into the bay water, because that's my plan, is to basically fish that area. So what I've just done, or I might put a bit more bait out on that area just with a catapult, but also for all 3 rods what I've just done is made up 3 little 3 bait stringers, albeit in mesh. And then something I haven't actually done for a long time, I think it's a bit of a forgotten tactic, is the old stringers or sort of 3 baits in mesh. And what I'll just hook them on later on, so wherever they land, the rigs will have 3 little baits sitting around them for attraction. I'm using the seafood, what I've got in my bucket, which is all glugged up, so they're, you know, the attractiveness of them should be, you know, on top form. it's just relying on whether there's any fish in that area, which I'm hoping there are. Well, obviously we said yesterday one boshed out off of that point where the left rod is. Unfortunately that fish didn't dive down and find me rig, but yeah, so that is the plan for later on, guys. Obviously all them plans will be completely scuppered if anyone does turn up sort of on a Friday evening after work and go in the bay swim. But I mean, to be fair, if anyone does, I probably still will do that tactic, but just not as far as what I planned. So I'll probably have to keep all 3 rods probably in line with that point, which is probably, well, that's 10 wraps. I mean, to be fair, when you're in the bay, you can't really come round to this bit of water anyway because of the trees growing to the left of the bay. You can't even really get to this water anyway, so you know, if anyone did turn up in the bay, probably I could go like 10 wraps, 11 wraps, 12 wraps and I'd be within my water. It's not a problem. But yeah, it's a lot nicer day today than it was yesterday, that's for sure. It's actually really warm, sunny, unlike yesterday where it was raining all day. Right, that's enough waffle anyway, guys, so I just thought I'd give you an update of what my plans are for later on. But obviously when I get back from the chip shop and I've had me food, I will wander around the corner just to make sure no one has turned up in the bay before I do start sort of lobbing rigs over there. Anyway, yeah, so unless any fish come along in the next hour and a half, I'll see you once I've had me fish and chips. Just had a little indication on the left hand rod, guys, the rod that's fishing out to just off the point there. I had like 3 single bleeps, like beep beep beep, and then it went again, like, but faster, like beep beep beep. So I think something is sniffing around that area. Apart from that fish that boshed out yet, that's probably the best sign that I've got fish in my area yet. So come on. Right guys, I've just enjoyed me fish and chips, very nice they was too. So just about to get the rods out for the final evening. So as I said earlier on, 3 bait stringer attached. So some of, don't think, as far as I can remember, I've not tried here before, so be interesting to see if this yields any results. So, and yes, I can go out of my water and poach another swim because no one has turned up and gone into that swim. In fact, hardly anyone has turned up at all. Weirdly enough, there's only 4 people Friday night, and there's only 4 people on the lake, including myself. 2 on the other side, me, someone down the other end, no one on the north bank whatsoever. So yeah, so this is my left hand rod that's going to go where it has been fishing. 10 wraps, rod length or so off of the point. Lovely dovely. Right, rod number 2 guys, middle rod. This is a rod that's going to aim for roughly open water between the point that I am fishing and the point on the other side of the bay, and I am going to aim sort of down the line of the far bank, because that's where I've caught from before, from this swim and from that swim. So if I can just aim for like the tip of the point on the far side of the bay, and then that should be lovely jubbly. Oh, absolutely on the money. Hey guys, third and final rod, and this one I'm just going to kind of aim for pretty much just dead open water, to be fair. Again, I'm going to try and get it at the same kind of range that middle rod has just landed. But, there we go. Yes, pretty much the same range. Can't complain with where that's landed. Alright guys, and then just to sort of generally bait the, or not generally bait the general area, I'm just going to catapult out a few loose freebies as well. Yes, that's pretty much on target, to be fair. Put a bit more on the 10 wrap rod. Lovely jubbly. And a few baits in the general direction of the right hand rod as well. One more and that works. Right, that will do, I think, guys. Oh, fingers crossed last night can yield some success. Oh, good morning everybody, and I slept quite well last night. I've not long got out of bed and it's 9:30. Yeah, obviously another quiet night, unfortunately, guys. During the night when I was awake, I did hear a couple of fish boshing out last night, so I know there are fish out there, because I heard them. and I even had a couple of liners last night as well. So yeah, so there's definitely fish moving around within the area of where I'm fishing, but unfortunately just not been able to pick any of them up. So today is pack up day. I've only got a few hours fishing left. Well, technically I could stay on as long as I wanted today. But I do plan to pack up around about lunchtime so I can get home, see the missus, go shopping, all that, you know, home life palaver. So yeah, I plan to be off sort of in about 2.5 to 3.5 hours time. Need to let the bivvy dry out first though, because it didn't rain last night, but it must have been a really damp night, because looking at my bivvy it looks like it rained last night. It's just covered in condensation, it's that wet. But so yeah, so I need to get the bivvy dried out first, because where I now live in a flat, I literally have nowhere to dry fishing gear up now if it gets packed away wet. So that's my main thing I need to do, is let the bivvy dry out. So yeah, so even if I say I plan to get off 1 o'clock, that gives me that 3.5 hours fishing time left. So long enough to have some breakfast first, because oh, look at that, shrivelling up, guys. Right, we will leave the camera pointing at the rods for as long as possible, hopefully with the aim of getting a take on camera. So that's probably not going to happen, but not going to touch the rods at all this morning. There's no need. We don't want to disturb the water just for the sake of another 3.5 hours of fishing. Right, as I said, breakfast first, guys, and then time to start a slow pack up. Right, and guys, we're in a bit of a situation. I am literally packing up. There is stuff behind the camera all packed up in a pile. For another hour and I'll be fully packed up and probably starting to make a move. Left hand rod has just gone off. I've lifted into it and there's some sort of snag out there. The fish has got caught round a snag. Can't believe it, literally an hour longer and the rods will be coming in. But yeah, there's a fish on but snagged up, so what I've just done, I've put the rod back down on the alarm, loosened off the clutch, and hopefully the fish will swim the other way out of whatever it's snagged on, because can't believe it. Talk about having a run at the 11th hour. But yeah, it's not feeling good. As soon as I picked up the rod, I could feel the line grating straight away. proper slacken the line off, and then hopefully with no resistance whatsoever the fish will feel like it's free and swim out. So I'll carry on with me pack down. It still feels like the line is through a snag. It feels like it's coming. Oh. Bugger. Bugger. Well, as you saw then guys, the fish did start to go, but as soon as I picked it up, whatever the snag was, the line was clearly still through around the snag, because as soon as well, that's the end result, being cut off. Shizzle. Oh, right then guys, so even though I'm packing up, because I know there's fish out there, I've quickly re-rigged. So exactly the same, Ronnie rig. The only difference is I haven't got the 3-bait stringer on this time. Obviously I'm just trying to get it out as quick as I can. So we will aim for roughly the same area. Hopefully that fish or a fish is still right then guys, let's get that rod back out there. It's literally just for the duration of packing up, but there's a fish out there. Hopefully I can catch it again or hook it again. Can't believe it, 3 nights fishing and they get a run as you're packing up and then bloody lose it. It's just my luck. Right then guys, I'm going to call it an end to the video now, because I am practically packed up now. As you can see, I'm down to just rods on the ground. Everything else is now fully packed up, so yeah, it's just literally the rods to wind in now guys. So yeah, been a bit of a frustrating session this one. I know there's been fish out there, I've seen them, I've heard them, and then of course, like I say, about an hour ago we had that run that unfortunately thwarted me by a snag. So that island, when it was constructed kind of several years ago now, it was constructed with all the spoil from surrounding gravel pits, and kind of in amongst all that spoil was, you know, quite big bricks and stones, and it was probably one of them that was kind of down that side, which the line probably went round. That's what it felt like anyway, because whatever the line was grating on, it certainly didn't feel like it was moving. But on the positive side, it's you know, I tried something new, or you know, the method's not new with that 3-bait stringer, something I've not done here before, and it did result in a take, so that is something positive to take away from this session. So yeah, so anyways, get these rods in, get home, have a shower, and yeah, no idea where I'm going to be next, but until then guys, tight lines, enjoy your fishing, and I'll see you in the next video.